know, our sister Ceola, we all know Ceola. I know of Ceola. Some beautiful tributes in the Royal Gazette, Bermuda, social media about Ceola. But she was one of our fearless, investigative journalists. And we've all had the privilege, really, of engaging and interacting with Ceola. I always appreciated when she would call in on all fronts and give her perspective. Periodically, if I saw her at the bus stop in Southampton on her way to the supermarket in the West, I'll give her a ride and engage in some spirited conversation with her about the politics of the day, social issues of the day. So we're going to start off tonight's show with a 34-minute segment, her first Bermuda Reel interview, I believe, with the Honorable former Premier Hewitt Brown, who also bestowed upon her great accolades and acknowledgement. And what I'm going to do, what I'm saying here, when you listen to this interview, my people, this interview leads us into the second part of the show. Listen attentively while the interview that Ceola has with Dr. Brown speaks to, certainly his leadership, court case, current status or perspective on the PLP, government, overall Bermuda, international business, tourism. All of that is a part of the conversation. Relationship with Caribbean, what we stand to learn, because that becomes part of the second part of the show, because we know that our premier, David Burt, and Minister Alexa Lightbourne are in the Caribbean right now. St. Kitts Nevis, by the way. They are in St. Kitts and Nevis for CARICOM 50th anniversary. And so we want to have some discussion about that. I have a theory or a prediction. I'll let that out later. Outcome of that visit, what I think will happen with Bermuda in that attendance, long term, maybe short term. But we're going to have that conversation. Also, following the clip with Ceola interview, I'm going to play a short snippet clip of Reverend Jesse Jackson. This was at the State of the Black World Union, State of the Black World Union, in the United States, on the panel with Reverend Jackson at this time was the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, Maxine Waters, a few of them, Travis Smiley, a number of them. But it's the interesting debate between Reverend Jackson and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And both, when you listen to both these videos, they are very much related to leadership that is before us today. And we're focused on our leadership, leadership in the Caribbean, leadership on the African continent, certainly our Western leadership. We're going to bring all that into context as we get into some discussion about the geopolitical morality or immorality that we are bearing witness to right now, and where Bermuda sits in that with our partnership right now, associate partnership with CARICOM. But when we take on the full membership, we enter into a new terrain in this very climate that we are in, that warrants that in this era of fragmented state, but it warrants some strategic sovereignty. And we're going to bring all that together. But listen to the interview, Ceola Wilson with Dr. Ewart Brown, our very first interview on Bermuda Real. This is a tribute to Ceola, and we're going to come back after both of the clips. About 40 minutes total, people, so just sit back, have yourself a cup of tea, coffee, or that shot that you may have or a glass of wine, just to relax your mind and body as we go through this here. So it'll be about 40 minutes. Let's tune in, and then we'll come back and open it up to you. I want to hear your thoughts and any tribute statement that you have for and about our sister, even if you have a story of our sister. May she rest in peace, Ceola Wilson. You have the opportunity to share it, but also tie it into the current events of the day as we address Bermuda's role in CARICOM, Bermuda's even this subject matter about ABIC warrants against income tax. There's that discussion too. And a great show by Corey Butterfield today, discussing some of that. We'll also look to elaborate. So here we go. Stay tuned.
It's Ceola Wilson, one-on-one. You're watching Bermuda Real.
And thank you for joining us for this, the first edition of a series of one-on-one interviews with yours truly. Joining us as our very first guest from Florida, none other than the Dr. Ewart Brown. Now, just the mention of your name evokes all sorts of things. I mentioned this to Reverend Tweed. But Dr. Brown, let's start from the top. 10 years plus later, millions of dollars, you're now facing a first-time charge ever for a premier on charges of corruption. Now, there's a thin line we can dance with this, but from your point of view, did you ever think it would go on this long?
I never put a time on it, Ceola. By the way, thank you for having me on your program. I didn't predict the length of the activity. I knew that I had developed enemies. I knew that I had done things that did not sit well with certain powers that be, both in and outside of Bermuda. And I was prepared for something. I always tell my wife, I knew they were coming.
It's now $10-12 million plus later, and you still haven't been on trial. What's the latest with that?
Well, at the moment, we haven't even had a final decision on who the judge will be. We have not yet made our arguments on the constitutional grounds, which Mr. Duncan and Mr. Lynch have been working on for quite some time. Things move slowly. COVID has not helped because the court system is jammed. And so we don't know. We don't know how long it's going to take, but it has taken longer than most people expected.
I'm hearing reports that there may be some question as to which judge presides over this case.
Yes.
Is that the case?
Yes. We have submitted arguments asking for the recusal of the judge, and that
based on what grounds?
Based on the appearance of bias.
Okay. So you stepped down officially in politics in 2010. Since then, you've moved on to a degree with your life, but that would be a very interesting time for the PLP. It was prior to the reign of Paula Cox, who, for the life of me, would not call a snap election when the United Bermuda Party fell apart. In hindsight, do you think she knows, or the party knows, that was a grave error?
Well, I've never discussed that with her, and I don't know how what her conclusion is about that. But I support the position that a snap election would have been the appropriate thing to do, but it wasn't my call. The premier at the time made the call, and the rest is history.
Now, based on that history, it was your watch where terms became popular like pay to play, friends and family. Oh, Dr. Brown's giving out contracts and he gets kickbacks. Now, what can you speak to that?
Well, I think part of that is a comical situation. Bermuda has a storied history of family and friends, a storied history of kickbacks to government officials, etc. And so that these people were familiar with the terms. That's why they could so easily apply them to me. That's the way they had done business for years. And that is probably the way many of them continue to do business. So, I wasn't surprised. I think it was Grant Gibbons who came up with the pay to play allegation. And that was their plan from the beginning, to find something to stick on me, because they didn't like my core politics, my central politics, my counter-racist politics. They didn't like that. And so they said, there must be something, there must be some steps we can take to assassinate his character, to make life more difficult. And they have come from all different angles. But so far, here we are.
What would you say about the talk regarding your affiliation or friendship with Michael Mizik, who's still facing charges?
Michael Mizik is a friend of mine. And as Nelson Mandela told the journalists, it would be improper for my enemies to choose my friends.
Now, Dr. Brown, on your watch, the salaries of cabinet ministers was increased, correct?
I think there was a minimal increase, although we didn't get the increase that I thought should have been in place.
Now, we've never had a majority of 30 to 6, but there's quite a bit of disenchantment in the local community. When you beat the pavement, you hear things like the PLP. This administration in particular are all about themselves. That's all about their paycheck. To hell with everybody else. What do you say to that? Because that sentiment in hard times is running hard right now.
Yes, I have been hearing that kind of thing. But I will tell you this. To govern is difficult. And in these times, you will hardly find an incumbent government that is not under increased stress. And COVID, of course, has added to that. I don't have the solution, and I don't know that much about the situation involving the cabinet and ministers individually. But I will say that Bermuda owes itself some work in drawing and attracting appropriate and effective ministerial talent.
Well, let's talk current. I'm sure you've heard about this senator who was recently in court for not paying his rent for whatever reason. The landlady is a senior citizen. There's a big outcry for Premier Brett to get rid of this guy. It's not a good look. How do you feel about it?
Well, it's not a good look. And there will be more instances where cabinet ministers and members of parliament will have situations involving their personal conduct. It's the premier's call. If the premier thinks that the senator cannot do his work appropriately as a result of this, then he has to do what he has to do. But that's his call, and surely it is not mine.
Most people were surprised that you could be a senator and on financial assistance. You have any views on that?
No, I didn't know about that specific situation.
Have you heard that there are reports, I think they were put out by TNN initially, that Premier Burt asked his cabinet MPs to sign a gag order, i.e., no one speaks to the media without his express permission, or they face the possibility of losing their cabinet appointment. Has that ever happened in your opinion?
No, the closest thing to that in my administration was when a member of the cabinet asked for support, indications of support during the Uyghur situation. And he circulated that to cabinet ministers. I never instructed that to happen. But, again, when you make those decisions, you have to stand by them and handle the consequences.
But I think the problem within the electorate comes with the backbenchers. I'm not sure if that gag order applies to them, but cabinet ministers serve at the behest of the premier, right? What is stopping the backbench? Because these guys are silent. They weren't silent on your watch.
No,
maybe David Burt is more intimidating than you. I don't know.
I wasn't intimidating at all, Ceola. The thing is that I don't know what is what with respect to the current backbench, but it is healthy for backbenchers to speak up, and I encouraged it.
A lot of people suggest that it's the money factor. Maybe they're quiet because they're hoping those 6-digit guys will fall from grace and maybe they'll get a slot. It's this whole money thing. I've heard people say that you have a House of Parliament with a government side that's filled with people who otherwise wouldn't have a job in the private sector. I mean, some of them work in the private sector, but quite a few of them don't. So to the young voter today who says politicians are all about the money, what do you say? Because I see that tide changing. I mean, recall we had almost 40% of the electorate who said to heck with both parties. I see that number growing. You say?
I wouldn't be surprised if it is growing, if people become disenchanted, disillusioned with politics. That happens. Again, it depends on positions taken, directions taken by the leadership. And the selection of cabinet ministers, as you said earlier, is directly the responsibility of the premier. And he knows his team better than I do.
Do you think this government is burning some bridges that won't be replaced?
I don't know the story intimately enough. I have heard comments and about people being disenchanted, and I'm sure that the leadership has heard the same thing. If I can sit where I am and hear it, then I would assume that it's being heard by the leadership. And what you have to do in politics is when you hear reports, you have to respond. Maybe not publicly all the time, but you do have to make changes, adjustments in order to keep things afloat. And I have confidence that the Progressive Labor Party, despite the current conversation, can recover.
No, you mentioned the Uyghurs earlier. Mm-hmm. That too is a major thorn in people's sides. They insist that Dr. Ewa Braun had to receive something for flying those Uyghurs into Bermuda. X years later, you say?
They are absolutely right. I did receive something. I received grief for 10 years after doing something that I thought was most Bermudian, to be hospitable and receptive to people who had been jailed without charges for 7 to 8 years. I think as we look now, 12 years, 13 years later, it's clear that it was the correct decision. Some people may argue with the way in which it was carried out, and I'll accept the responsibility for that. But there's no question that we did what should have been done for the Uyghurs.
Now, that was way back in 2009.
Yeah.
Do you regret that you made that deal secretly?
No.
Why not?
Because cabinet is a leaky ship. As a journalist, you know that. And the United States had asked that it be treated in a classified manner. And I acceded to their request.
Why Colonel Birch, though? Why was he the one to fly them in?
Because he was the minister responsible for immigration.
Now, you would know more than some that this year the delegates conference leaves way for a challenge. Mm-hmm. You know, you're a guy who challenged before. At a time, at one point, you said you wasn't, and you did. You see David Burt being challenged this year?
Let's clear up the history first. I never said that I would not challenge. At a particular time, I might have been unready to challenge, but it was known to all of Bermuda and everyone else that I eventually wanted to do that. I don't think anyone was surprised that I did that.
That statement you made, we had to deceive you. What was that about?
Again, incorrect. Still wrong choice of words. I said we had to mislead you. That was a poor choice of words, and I have since expressed my regret concerning those words. What I meant was that we could not come out with full disclosure on what was happening behind the scenes, and that was accurate.
Two proteges come to mind, Mark Bean and David Burt. Mm-hmm. Both on your watch. Mr. Bean is not in politics from as far as I can tell right now. David Burt is now walking in your shoes. He's a premier. He's also the Minister of Tourism. You both have Jamaica links, and I only say that to say that when I look at the international news, I see Jamaica booming. I see flights going in, like their airport is full. We have a massive airport that is empty after 1 o'clock until British Airways comes in. Clearly, our tourism is not doing as well as other areas, and I would have thought we would look more to some of what Jamaica's doing, you know, in present times. What's your views on that?
Well, I have a number of views. The first one is that I acknowledge that tourism for Bermuda is under stress, not doing well. I also recognize that these things go in cycles. There was a time when Jamaica used to look to us, when everybody in the Caribbean looked to Bermuda to lead the way, so to speak, in tourism strategies. Over time, that has changed. Turks and Caicos is a very, very popular destination at the moment, regardless of COVID. That is just the nature of the beast at the moment. I do believe, though, that Bermuda has to question itself in the long run as to whether tourism and international business are in fact capable of existing at the same time, both of them being successful.
What would help us immediately, in your view, in terms of air arrivals? Because our beds have been empty with no heads for a long time. We also have a minister and a Bermuda Tourism Authority. I'm not really sure what's what. Your views?
Well, you know, it is a most difficult job, I can tell you, to get people to come to Bermuda in the first 3 months of any year. I remember that when we looked at it back then, we said, you know, we'll have to find things that attract people when the weather does not. And so we came up with the Love Festival, which was beginning to grow, but which was terminated by my successor. We had golf tournaments. You know, we had triathlons. We were trying to at least stop the hemorrhaging, so to speak, during those months, the first 3 months of the year. When Global Hue was there, I think that we were more in tune with the target population in the United States. And we did not make the assumption that Bermuda was so desirable that we didn't have to work and generate business within the U.S. We're still trying. We're still trying in different ways. But I believe that that there has to be an overhaul of the entire approach to tourism. I think the old model has finished its shelf life, so to speak. And we have to come up with something totally different. And
do you see that happening? Because I still strongly believe that Bermuda's for the newlyweds and the nearly dead. We have no nightlife. What do you do at dark 33?
Well, let me tell you something. I remember a cabinet minister in the PLP making that statement many years ago. And as a result of that, we did things to liven Dockyard. You remember when Dockyard did look like a graveyard, and especially in the evenings. And over time, with the construction of the Heritage Wharf and the introduction of new businesses in Dockyard, that's a different place now. It's not the place that we'd like it to be, but it's different. And it's just going to take work, Ceola. I'm not convinced that Bermuda benefits from its most intelligent and brilliant people. I think a lot of the bright people in Bermuda sit on the sidelines and snipe. They shoot at the government, no matter which government it is. We don't have enough people, bright people, I think, participating in the actual delivery of goods and services to the people. And I wish, and I put this out as a call, you know, some of you brilliant people, or those of you who consider yourselves brilliant, come forward, you know, and help your country and stop criticizing and be constructive. It's time for that. Things can get worse. Things can get worse in Bermuda. And people need to understand that it's not automatic that you're going to do well. And so you mentioned nightlife for tourism. Let me tell you something. There is no nightlife in Turks and Caicos.
So what do they do?
Nothing. But it's a wonderful place to do nothing. That's the whole point. What do they have? They have the best beaches in the world. They have great restaurants. And they have friendly people. Do they have hotels that cost $400 and $500 a night? More than that.
Really?
More than that. That's what I'm saying. Some of the things that we think are problems are not problems for other people.
Okay, basic things. If I go to a certain beach and I want to buy a beer,
yes. Now there you go. Now,
you know, I can't do that.
Okay, there you go. Now you're coming into what I used to call the Bermuda factor. Okay, which is we want to grow, we want to be at the top of the heap, but we don't want to change. We don't want to do anything. As Jesse Jackson used to say, you know, you want us to be a show horse and a mule. You know, make up your mind. If you want to be a show horse, then you got to decorate your horse. You know, this idea of not having drinks on the beach, it is totally ridiculous. It is absurd that it has taken Bermuda so long. And I remember proposals long before I was in government, proposals designed to liven up the experience on the beach in Bermuda. And it was always opposed. I don't know what it is, Ceola. If you came up tonight with a cure for cancer in Bermuda, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a committee against it in the morning.
So we're just going to keep going round and round because this whole Bermuda Tourism Authority came, I believe, on David Dugdale's watch, right? Who promised within X number of years they will be funding themselves based on this. It never happened. So now we have a BTA and a tourism ministry, and both of them look like a bunch of deadheads in terms of visitor numbers. Why do we stay on this treadmill?
Because we believe that a new structure will solve the old problem. Structures don't solve problems. Buildings don't solve problems. People solve problems. And that's what we're lacking in Bermuda. I don't see enough energetic, innovative people input. And when it does come often, it's discouraged. I don't know what it is. I have thought about it. I have prayed about it. I don't know where the toxicity comes from. I have a feeling that it is based in race because we will not confront that issue. And therefore, everything else is like building a house on sand.
So it's all about the tourism part of profitability for a certain persuasion and nothing for the others, because you have a government right now who says they're into empowering entrepreneurs, and you go to government and hit brick walls before you even get through the door. And then it's about whether you're in that clique or if you fit this thing. You know how it goes.
I understand.
Which is why friends and family is so popular.
Yeah. Well, we're all friends and we're all family. That's what people don't understand. In Bermuda, if someone is not friend or family, who are they? Only one category is left, is enemy.
So when you say things could get worse, paint that picture for me, because economically, people are still struggling. The country's saying we can't repave roads because, money's tight. Never mind where you're going to get the asphalt. But paint that picture for me.
Well, I don't want to be the messenger of doom and gloom, but I do think that if we're going to take a realistic look at the potential future of Bermuda, we have to look at the downside. The downside we could continue to lose flights, for example. And when that happens, then the dominoes begin to fall. Hoteliers will tell you, I cannot possibly continue. We've had Southampton Princess closed for a long, long time, and it doesn't seem to have made a difference. There's no demand for it. So that could happen. There could be more and more unemployment. That's a reality. Bermudians have to understand that, yes, Bermuda is another world, but Bermuda also suffers the pain of the world. And we're not excluded from that. If people are not working and not generating income, crime will increase. That will make the place less desirable, and on and on. And so right now is the time. Let's not wait. Let's not wait until it is really out of control.
So what's it going to take, though, with these guys? Because everybody's looking fat and comfortable to me.
Well, I don't know how people are looking, but I'll tell you what, the responsibility is the government's in some areas, but all of the responsibility is not the government's. We need to stop trying to block people from being entrepreneurs, for example. In Bermuda, often when a proposal's on the table, nobody does anything because they're tracing where the money will go. And that argument takes 5 years. We've got to get out of that habit. It's time to just do things and move forward. I mean, if you look at what's happening in Barbados and now about to happen in Jamaica, you will see that other people are not waiting for us. They're not waiting for us. And we're getting further and further behind. And we're relying.
I don't see the urgency, though, in our leadership.
Well, they will. It'll come. I've had patients who didn't see the urgency either until things got out of control.
It's not a problem till the massive heart attack strikes.
That's right. Until then, just eat more mayonnaise.
Oh, helmets. Make sure it's helmets. Listen, you mentioned something earlier. I said I wanted to ask you. The perception is, and I don't know what you said initially, but when you came out in support of the vaccination, I got heavy criticism from the public. Well, that's not what he said in the beginning. The perception is you were against the vaccination, and now you're all for it. But what exactly is your position? And I'm guessing you'll agree that physicians do get paid to push the jab, yes?
Let me say this. First of all, another perception. I don't know where these things come from. I was never opposed to the vaccine. I have questioned a number of medical treatments over the years. I have also told people to look into things without being just following instructions automatically. There's nothing wrong with that. I was never opposed to the vaccine for COVID. I was never opposed to it. And
care to say whether or not you're vaccinated?
Of course, I'll tell you. I'm vaccinated. I don't urge people to do something that I wouldn't do. Vaccinated and boosted and everything else.
No side effects?
None that I know of. None that I own. I still remember you.
I'm sure you like to forget me sometimes, too. I was asked to ask you, as an outgoing premier, did well in politics, did well as a physician, what's the one thing you feel that you did for the betterment of your country directly as it relates to Black people? Because I keep hearing people say life got worse, in particular under this PLP administration. What would you say your number one accomplishment was? You know, apart from the pay to play and all the stuff you hear.
Yeah, I'm not even thinking about that. I would think, and this is for other people to determine, you know, all I did was work, and I'll leave the legacy bit up to others. I think that in my mind, the most important thing was the support and encouragement of young Black people to follow their dreams, to work hard. Mirrors was a reflection of that, all trying to improve the Black people's participation in the economy of Bermuda, which is decidedly one-sided. And so trying to fight that and trying to establish conversations about racism. But even there, you know, we had minimal success that you could measure because there's resistance.
We're still not there yet.
No, well, we're not there, and there are countries all over the world where people have decided not to try to go there.
There's a perception that, and first of all, would you be surprised to hear that there's a petition due to be released this coming week calling for the powers that be to just drop this whole corruption case? That it's time to move on to end the money spending. We're talking up to $12 million for something that has yet to be brought before the courts. Would you be surprised to hear that, your reaction?
Well, I'm not surprised. In fact, I'm pleased when I heard about it last week. I'm pleased that somebody wants to get on track and get Bermuda on track and get rid of all this waste that's been going on. They don't seem, the governor has the responsibility, and I want to be clear on this. I don't know whether Bermudians understand that the governor appoints the Chief Justice, he appoints the DPP, and he appoints the police commissioner. All of those people report to the governor, and yet the governor, who was offended by some of my remarks in 2007 and 8, chose to begin this craziness in trying to politically and personally assassinate my character. And then we find ourselves where the governor actually had monthly meetings of all these people who report to him about the investigation. I mean, that is unheard of. But yet something comes up calling for the investigation of a police commissioner, and that gets taken off the table almost immediately. So I understand, and I'm not complaining about what it is, because I see what it is and I know what it is, and there's no sense in expressing shock and surprise.
Speaking of the police commissioner, you would know that we just had the abrupt resignation of Stephen Corbishley. There are 3 Black Bermudians in line who are fully qualified for that position. Months later, still no appointment, while crime and murders and serious crime continues. You surprised by the length of time? And speculation is that the length of time it's taken indicates that they're looking to bring in another foreign commissioner. You say?
I say sickening and sad. 2022, and we don't have a Bermudian police commissioner. We had Bermudian police commissioners back in the 80s. So what's this new thing about Bermudians suddenly not being qualified? It's not. Bermudians need to wake up and smell the roses and see what is happening. there is a direct effort to control certain aspects of Bermudian life. And they're going to do it because it's consistent with their ultimate desires.
There are those who would say in that regard, nothing's changed in Bermuda, and that's in spite of both administrations.
Well, I wouldn't say nothing has changed, but people are wearing different hats and people are using different approaches, but the end result is the same. We are still a colony in 2022. We are a colony, and we can dress it up all we want and call ourselves an overseas territory, but that's just spraying cologne on manure. You know, it's the same thing. And it's time for us to wake up. Barbados is trying to teach us the truth about our predicament, and we can't ignore it. We cannot ignore it any further. It's time to look at that and decide that we don't want that anymore.
But where's the leadership? I'm not even sure independence is an issue for this current PLP government.
I don't know. I don't know where that issue sits on the list of priorities, but I'll tell you that as a country, Bermuda cannot continue to be a colony and succeed.
We'll be right back after these messages. Stay tuned.
Whoa, there you have it. Ceola Wilson, man, celebrate her. We should be paying, this should be anniversary time, maybe once a year, a Ceola segment. Reflect on that conversation because it has direct correlation to current events. Direct correlation to current events. CARICOM visit, direct correlation. Income tax, direct correlation. Of course, leadership in the country, direct correlation. Bermuda's place in the world. Bermuda suffers the pain of the world. There's a lot of power in that statement, right? Of course, colonization. And the fact that we have new colonization emerging right in the Caribbean. Direct correlation. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to play the short segment of Jesse Jackson and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, also related to current events. But as you listen to this particular segment, listen to it through the lens also. The statement is being made by Jackson, are we winning? And so I guess that's the question. Are we winning? Are we winning? Somebody say winning at what? Okay, is it a win-win for us in CARICOM? Is it a win-win for our role in this strategic sovereignty that will be needed if we are to contest anything that's coming out of the dominance, and you heard me talk about this before, the hegemony that we see with Western parts, namely United States, UK, all of them in bed. And if you've been paying any attention to some of the global events, I'm not even going to bring up last night, State of the Union. I'm not going to bring up that. But when we see what's happening still globally and the implications, when we see still what's happening even with United States, with Cuba, before our eyes, implications for CARICOM in the 15 states and the others who are about to join as full members. So listen up to this segment. Are we winning? Jesse Jackson.
I hope that in our analysis of it, we don't conclude that we ain't winning. We're winning. There's going to be an election in South Africa a few months from now because we winning. There was a Middle East agreement signed on the White House lawn last Monday because we got the scars in our bodies. We're winning. We came here 30 years ago for the March on Washington. From Texas across to Florida up to Virginia, we couldn't use a single public toilet. We could not use a single hotel. We couldn't drink water from a single fountain. Have been in vain and not productive.
The scripture teaches, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. And it is ignorance that is the worst enemy of the rise of our people to fulfill our destiny. Of the rise of our people to fulfill our destiny. That ignorance is fed on by corrupt leadership. Now, the scripture again says, woe to the shepherds who feed themselves and not the flock. Should not the shepherds feed the flock? Most of our leaders are handpicked by the very enemy that we're trying to get free from. It's all right for us to say we have a voting rights bill and a public accommodations bill, and all of us, including myself, have benefited from those bills. But to get a public accommodations bill and a voting rights bill and then close black hotels because we sleep in white ones, or close black establishments so that we can spend our money with our oppressor, the prize, because now you can sit in boardrooms and be media folk now, because little black people marched in the streets and suffered and went to jail to make openings for those of us who sit in leadership. Now we've got to unite at the top and develop strategies to free our people. Otherwise, we will be saying we're winning, but the masses keep losing. So if the masses keep losing, then we can't be winning unless our agenda is personal. We're looking for self-aggrandizement. But if we're looking for the liberation, if we want the liberation of our people, it ain't none of us winning until all of us become winners. Yeah. Close black establishments so that we can spend our money with our oppressor is not winning. Reverend Jackson, I submit. I submit. Wait. On one hand, we are winning because every one of these brilliant congresspersons, they represent us. They are brilliant men and women. These are brilliant people in front of us. But what good does it do to have a brilliant head not connected to a black body? I submit that until and unless we as a mass connect with the Congressional Black Caucus and our black leaders connect to the black masses, and don't take your eye off the prize, because now you can sit in boardrooms and...
There you have it. 297-1027. If you've been listening, we're tributing. We started off with tribute, Ceola, her first interview, Bermuda Real, with Dr. Hewitt Brown, former premier. This segment between the Honorable Minister Farrakhan, the late Reverend Jesse Jackson, who we also acknowledge who just passed. So when we listen to both of these segments, and like I said, when we listen to even Ceola in terms of her interview, her questioning, capturing her fearlessness, you know, She was unapologetic. She was forthcoming. She was direct, putting forward those type of questions that provoke some type of imposition. Some may find it a threat, but they were questions that evoke truth. When we listen to that particular interview, when we fast forward and we look at it and place that which was in that interview with Dr. Brown, what we just heard between Reverend Jackson and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, are we winning? When I listen to both of them cover some of the same things. Let's take, when we reflect and look at some of the things that came out of Ceola's interview with Dr. Brown, fast forwarding to where it plays and has a place even in CARICOM. Here we go. When we look at, we have both now our premier Home Affairs Minister Minister Alexa Lightbourne. Both are in the Caribbean, St. Kitts and Nevis, at the 50th anniversary of the CARICOM. And CARICOM, as we know, we are associate members. Well, I'm predicting that we will become full-time members. We will be. It'll be soon. And I know people have called for referendum, but there'll be no referendum on it. It'll be a decision made for you. And some think that for us to become full members, we'll have to go through the king. The king's got other things on his mind right now. The king's he's got to deal with his brother. And so when we think in terms of some of the things that were shared by Dr. Brown, for example, Barbados, that was a bold statement. Barbados is trying to teach us, but are we listening? And the thing that came up is, are we really listening? Do we really want change of any kind to transform our current circumstances? But hey, I want to listen to you, the people. Open mic. Hey, CARICOM, taxation, income tax, personal income tax. Great majority of countries whom we engage with, all of them have income tax, except probably the island nations. All of them have personal income tax. United States, 23, 21%? I think UK is about, 17 to 20% personal income tax. Switzerland, you can go down the line. China, income tax. All of them have income tax. We always are given somewhat of some say a forewarning. I hear subtle threats. It's the equivalent of what my generation grew up with, that this generation is getting in a different way. And matter of fact, the younger generation have, accepted it. My generation, anyone over 50, you grew up listening to, the banks can call your mortgage. You don't hear that too much, but you do hear, you're going to leave the island. And that's what we're hearing right now. But hey, I'm listening to you. Good night, you and all friends.
Evening, Dr. Lou.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Brown, I've been very disappointed that the Bermudian people didn't stand by and support Dr. Brown more. He done so much for this island. Then he did some births at Dockyard for the cruise ships. Had we not had that, I believe this island would have sunk. And he done so many other things for when he became leader in this island, and I was very disappointed that when he was under attack, that the Bermudian people didn't come to his rescue.
Right.
Very disappointed about that. I guess my disappointment probably started around when the PLP was first formed in '63, and shortly thereafter. I always remember when I was going around talking to some of the elders about once an election will come about for them to engage in voting for the PLP, and all the people that I spoke to back then was that they were not going to vote for the PLP because the PLP didn't have any money. And I tried to convince them that, hey, the money that, what I call them the UBP, had, it wasn't their money. That money belonged to the people of Bermuda, the Treasury. But they couldn't see it that way. So when you ask the question, have we progressed? Or progress has been very, very slow. We haven't moved forward that much.
Are we winning this battle toward becoming independent?
Well, when they had the independent vote, I voted for it. Again, I see with the mentality of the Bermudian people, the black Bermudian people, it's almost the same mentality as I just described in the 1960s. They're still suffering from post-traumatic slave syndrome. They're still suffering from this fear, this frightened mentality. It's frightened to move forward, frightened to make changes.
Yeah, and you're saying something also, and I want to get as many callers in. Or you can always feel free to call back. But you make an important statement that you're consistent with, that we want to change, but we're fearful of taking those steps of real change.
Yeah, we've got to move forward. If we don't move forward, we're going to fail. I don't see much hope for this country right now.
Let me ask you this here. Where we are right now in our current socio-economic state as a country, right? Placed within the grander scheme of the global politics. I mean, Dr. Brown said, Bermuda suffers the pain of the world. And certainly, economically, we suffer the pain of the world, right? Socially, we have taken on some of the pains of the world and, embody it as a way of life. Do you see some of that changing? Give me a quick answer to that. Response to that.
The difficulty I see was that the PLP was moving forward at one point. And then we got around to 2012 election. It was like they became impatient. And they put the OBA there, and then they regretted it because not only did they bring harm to the country and the people, but they put us in so much debt. And then right after that, they voted back for PLP and put them back in.
Yeah.
But the damage by the OBA group was done.
Yeah.
You see, and now we're struggling to try to move forward economically to get out of this debt, and it's very difficult. And if anything should happen, for example.
Hold on, but I want you. I want to take the next call, and I want you, because you call frequently. Hold on, but I want you to hold that thought, because I want you to come back in at some point, and I want to get in as many callers in the rhythm of what we're saying, rather than a long dissertation. So hold your thought, but feel free to come back in and exchange and build upon what you're saying. Thanks a lot. Good night, you and all friends.
Good evening, Dr. Lou.
Good evening.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I hear you clearly, yeah.
Good. Listen, let me first of all say thank you, sir, for actually bringing on that clip with Ceola and Dr. Brown.
Yes, sir.
And I hope at some point you can bring on Ceola with her interview with the late Honorable Larry Scott and Ashfield event. The reason why I'm going to try to make it as quick as possible. Here's what bothers me. I'm listening to Dr. Ewart Brown, and I could pick at a lot of stuff, but I won't because that's not tonight's topic. I agree with the fact that we spent a whole lot of wasted money, and the PLP has actually the finance minister has to sign off on it. So you can see where I'll go with that one. But here's what I don't like is that we're faced with a lot of problems in Bermuda. And we need investigative journalism in this country to a higher degree than what we've been seeing. I think to date, the best we've ever seen so far is Ceola Wilson and Trevor Lindsay. And do you know what? They hit a lot of roadblocks, right? This is a question I would like to ask openly on air, and I've asked it privately of a lot of politicians and got no answer.
Go ahead.
You have Ceola Wilson, good friend of mine. We've been friends since we were in childhood, right up until recently when she passed. God bless her soul, legacy, and memory. I would consider myself to be one of the closest people to Ceola personally. But one thing Ceola and I used to do is pull off of each other when it came to news items. And I said to Ceola over a year ago, I said, Ceola, I've told Trevor, I'm telling you, I sent it over to Pat Bertrand. I'm calling names for a reason. I sent it to Gary Foster Skelton. I sent it to Royal Gazette. How is it that you have a chief medical officer that is in Bermuda, and this man comes to the media and says, Bermuda, I want to thank you for your time and for allowing me to serve you in the capacity of a chief medical officer position, and I've got to leave the country and quit my post because I'm going back to the UK because of a family emergency. This same chief medical officer is presently back in Bermuda, and he arrived back in Bermuda. I gave Ceola the stat. I said I could tell you the flight and the time that he came back into Bermuda, and how dare he come back into Bermuda under what capacity? And all I've asked is one thing simple. Let me dress it up a bit. When you had the natural immunity case with Sophia and Mike Kenner Watson, this man, the chief medical officer, was supposed to be, I'll say allegedly, seemingly for legalities because I'm on air, he was supposed to be the chief witness for the government against Sophia and her husband. But because we had the biggest coming in to be in their part of their platform, their chief witnesses, he could not stand up against them. This is my personal view. So he had to get out of this island because it would have made the Bermuda government look as stupid as it is when it comes to the biochemical weapon that you all call the vaccine and natural immunity. But that's not the key point. The key point is, will somebody answer the question? Because I know Trevor has asked it. I know Ceola has asked it. The health minister won't answer her. The premier won't answer her. And those are the two people that should answer her. Why is Dr. Io back in Bermuda in a post that was never even put on the government job board or advertised? And is the job he's doing something that another Bermudian physician or doctor can do? Because we shouldn't have this man in this island. As far as I'm concerned, he's part of the problem. Because he gave us a lot of, this is my personal opinion, allegedly seemingly for legality. He gave us a pack of lies, and he gave us a whole pile of foolishness. And thus, you see what's happening with Old Shore, whatever the heck that means. The S&M Argus all coming together, and you see the dominance there. And I'm saying, like, come on. Bermuda is in a dire strait. Today, I received a notification from somebody in authority. But do you know there was a charter flight that came in here that brought, now, I don't know if they're exaggerated. They said it brought up to 200 foreign workers in here on a charter flight. And I'm thinking, well, the only place I would think right now would require that type of staffing for any bit of work going on would be the Fairmont. I could be wrong.
Could be, but like you, I would say for that sum of people, that total of people, it would be that particular project, largest project right now under development.
Exactly. Or is it for the housing that they in the silver, you're getting ready to break ground somewhere? And at the end of the day, that's still putting Bermudians out of work. All I'm going to say, and I'll say this in closing, it's no different from Keenan's report today, and I'm going along the type of trajectories that Ceola would have done, because she would ask these type of questions in reference to what she asked Dr.
I appreciate your spirit. Go ahead.
The condition of Bermuda. CNN puts a report out that you've got landlords in Bermuda pushing Bermudian tenants out in order to take in these foreign nationals and allowing them to stay in these small, cramped-up quarters, 8 to 12 deep. And yet, if I have my family and it's 6 or 7 of us, you won't let us stay in a place where a one-bedroom or studio is 6 or 7 deep. And if Zandy said we're so concerned about housing in Bermuda, let's deal with all these foreigners that's taking up space in Bermuda. If you've got an employer that's bringing in an employee, they should have accommodations already for those people. And if a foreigner is taking accommodations that Bermudians can have, they should be displaced and we should be put in that place. And I'm sick and tired of this nonsense around here. We've got too much folly going on in this country. And you know, every now and then people listen to my voice and I get messages back from people that work in the DPP's offices. You know they want to take you for inciting violence. Inciting what? You should start arresting some of your politicians around here that's inciting this themselves. By
You mean someone's telling you you're inciting violence? I hear you in...
because my thing is, listen, something's going to let off in this country. If you like it or not, listen, Dr. Lou, you can look at it all you want. They're going to tell me, now you're going to tell me where I can get certain medication from. And if you don't call that friends and family benefit, look who owns the Phoenix Group of Companies. And that's my ex-boss. So it's no way I'm attacking him directly, but I'm going to go straight for the jugular and say, there's no way you can tell me that this is not friends and family benefit. It's no different from not having a homeless shelter, Salvation Army having the old Bishop Spencer School given to them by the PLP all those years. They need to raise $5 million to renovate that place to accommodate the homeless in our country. And you're going to tell me the government, the private sector, and even the businesses of Bermuda couldn't put together $5 million? And now you got David Burke coming out with the CIT tax with $600 million? Man, you could have took that $5 million out of the 600 and put a shelter there for our people.
Well, let me just say this here. Based on what you're saying, because you put something that's out there, maybe that $5 million can come out of that $600 million that you're talking about. So I appreciate you putting it out there. But I'm gonna push that question. I'm gonna push that question some more.
Already going. The Bishop Spencer School is already going. It's given to a prominent PLP supporter. Friends and family built. Friends and family.
But guess what?
Benefit.
Bishop's going, but there are other sites that are opening. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
That's what I'm saying.
There you go.
Like the Zandy Silver, let's get one of these schools for these homeless people.
Let's see. Thank you, my brother. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Point's taken. You know, this issue of when we listen to both callers and even reflecting on the clip with Dr. Brown in terms of the challenges that our leadership face. And one thing that stood out with me with Dr. Brown's argument, please hold, caller. Some of our brightest people do not get in the game, but even some of our brightest people who are putting their voices in the argument with solutions, requesting invitation, they're not being called or asked to be at the table. And while we say to be at the table, doesn't necessarily mean to be at the greater geopolitical table, but that table of solution building. When you talk about the housing issue and engaging Zane De Silva, local contractors as a part, and I know some of them are being courted in this project. But again, those are some of the things that we're talking about in terms of resolution. When we hear about the tourism issue, I'm sorry. I mean, I make a great argument, and even I consider it a great argument. One, tourism to me is international business. And that's part of changing the old model. And I think that's part of the conversation where Dr. Brown and Ceola were getting at in terms of engaging more of our people in the discussion to be a part of our own solution because, and we say it often here on all fronts, no one's coming to save you people. And black people in Bermuda, ain't no one coming to save you. It's either you do it for yourself or it's done to you. As we see it being done globally, and CARICOM is an example of it. If there's no strategic sovereignty across the Caribbean, you can rest assured then they will be gobbled up by, we say, Western hegemony, but in this case, if you listen to Mark Rubio's latest speech, tells you a lot about not what's coming your way, what's going to be in your way, because the West have made it very clear. They don't need your permission. Go ahead, caller.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, my brother.
How you doing?
So far, so good.
I haven't spoken to you for quite some while.
You've been
back in this 2025.
Likewise.
2026, I mean.
Likewise.
You just played an insert of Minister Louis Farrakhan, didn't you?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was something.
Reverend Jackson and Minister Louis Farrakhan, yeah. They were at the State of the Black World Union, a few years ago.
Right.
Many years ago, actually, about 10 years ago.
One of these days, you need to pick out find the piece where he tells us as a people, we've been had, hoodwinked, bamboozled, run amok, and lied to.
I think that was done at a State of the World Union too, but not that particular one that I showed tonight. Yeah, that I played tonight.
Mr. Simmons, and you just said it. We as a black people, and not just black people, we as a people, we need to get away because the racism in this island is so camouflaged in this island that we really don't think it's happening.
Well, that's part of the toxicity that Dr. Brown spoke to. He says, we don't like to say it, but it is part of our toxicity that gets in the way of our progress.
But we have those that have been put in position to make changes, to do policies, to do things, and haven't done them.
Yeah.
And they had enough terms to do it. So let us not, like you just said, don't sit around and wait for somebody to come do it for you. You have to start doing it for yourself.
Yeah.
And then after you do yourself, you do it for your household. And then after you do it for your household, you try and do it for your next door neighbor. And then let it branch out to your parish. And then maybe it will catch a fire in Bermuda totally and wholly, that we all need to help one another. And the spirit of greed that's in this island, but guess what? We keep thinking there's damn people that's coming with the white pillowcases over their heads with some holes in it. They're trying people.
What do you think, this malaise of complacency that we have here in Bermuda on these issues and concerns? Because we hear about it, we talk about it, there's much concern in reference to it, and even with the interview with Dr. Brown and Ceola, they clearly pointed it out that it doesn't appear that there's a strong will to change our circumstances as it relates to, certainly the issue of colonization. That's something that'll be, I don't know if our people are going to willingly do it. It may be something imposed upon us to do it, but I don't even see that. I see Bermuda, and we do have something to learn from Barbados in the actions that they have taken there in the Caribbean. And I focus on them exclusively in this subject matter, more so than I do with Jamaica or Trinidad. There are lessons that Barbados is giving the rest of the Caribbean. And I'll say this here, Because in this age and time, with what we see going on and the direct correlation to whether we choose to become independent or not, there's a direct correlation to the new independence of the African states as one.
You went right on where I was just about to say. We need to get some real leaders that has the kahunas like Abraham to rate, and not for himself, but for his people.
Yeah.
Take a page out of his book.
I'm glad you brought that up, because he is, I mean, you know, Trump has just called for a meeting, wanting to have a meeting with him, but I know that's not coming up anytime too soon. That's not coming up anytime too soon.
I'm not even normally watching TV, but I turned on the TV and he had his State of Union address, and I switched the channel, and then I fell asleep.
Well,
Donald Trump, it's like, I didn't even, just like if your premier of the day came on the radio, I will switch the channel. Because I don't want to hear nothing that they have to say. Look, you know what? We in Bermuda.
It was really just 2 hours of boasting, really. You know, I mean, I actually fell I said, man, I can't stay up and watch this. I had to go to sleep. I dozed off. I went to sleep. Because on American media, they're going to play it 100 times. And, you know, I woke up in the morning and they were still playing it. So, but it was 2 hours of boasting. And, you know, if you learned anything, you know, one thing that stood out, the tax cuts we're talking about taxation, personal income tax. Well, that speech revealed the $1 trillion in tax cuts for the richest 1%. So that tells you the rest of that speech and what it means to the rest of American people. You're not in the you're not in the game.
The saying is the rich get richer.
Yeah.
And the poor get poor.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, we just have to put our trust in the great almighty God. He's the only one that's going to be our savior.
Well, our trust in him requires a certain action too. He don't want us to trust and be sleeping. Yeah, he don't want us trust and want us just to be sleeping on what we're talking about. He wants us to be like his son. You know, he wants us there fighting for what we want.
We cannot just be having that thorn in our paw and we just laying there with these thorns in our paw.
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But at the same time, we've been down this road. When was the industrial union? Way back. The other day I was around there and see the pictures. How long ago?
And
the trend of fashion has even changed back to it. Afros, bell bottoms, long pants.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How long ago was that?
And I'm glad you brought that up. Where they were celebrating what, 80 years?
80 years.
Tribute to E.F. Gordon, the general strike of 1981. 2015. It was the furlough days protests. You right? 1959, the dock workers strike, airport protests. So you know we have a history. We have a history of protests, and of course, probably the most recent was the 2015.
You know what really sickens me to my guts?
So
these same people were up there where we all getting pepper sprayed. That's running the country today. The same people.
Yeah.
And what are we doing? I would really like for somebody that is a blind loyalist to the PLP to come on this radio tonight. You tell them all hold on to the one that's got the talk to say what this administration has really done for their people that they use when they want to get in power.
Is it your position that they haven't done enough.
No, I believe it's much more that they can do.
Right.
And you know how you do it? Pen and paper, policies, this, that, and the other, until they get votes. And then somebody else will come in and change pen and paper or make it law. You know what?
Well, let's see.
Sally was just talking about a plane coming in and whatever. I don't know enough about all that because I'm not looking at all that anymore. I'm looking at.
But it is something to be concerned about, and especially
I agree.
Especially as someone like you who in your trade.
Listen, Mr. Simmons, I agree. It's something for us to worry about. But if it's happening under this administration, that in order for you to be getting these people, come here, land on this doorstep, the paperwork that it has to go through. Under who? This same one that I'm telling you, I saw him there, where we all got pepper spray. And after a while, you just get sick and tired.
Let me ask you this here. Let
me finish with this one here, and I really need to get it. People in Bermuda need to stop living in fear, thinking that doesn't come take your house, your car, your boat.
Yeah.
They can't touch your soil because it doesn't belong to them. That's what we need to stop. That's what we need to stop, and stop being selfish.
Yeah.
Greed.
Yeah.
Me, mine. That's how this stuff is allowed to happen. Because
it's part of what divides us, really. It's a lot of what divides us. We are people who are easily divided by trinkets and little perks that says, for brief moments of gratification.
Well said, Mr. Simmons. Well said.
Which does nothing more than muddy the reality of our current circumstances, really.
And which allows them to continue to do what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then we all just keep thinking it's the white man that's doing it.
No. I'm with you. More to come. You provoked.
But the best part about it is that God is not sleeping.
Well, I believe you. I believe he's not sleeping if we are awake, and that was the challenge. Farrakhan and Jesse Jackson's speech that was said. But Dr. Brown and Ceola, that was said. In other words, the people have to wake up to our own circumstances and change it ourselves.
The worst part about it, I don't know if you know about this saying, they would tell you way back then when you're asleep, oh, go back to sleep.
Well.
Yeah. Because that's what we're doing now, sleeping. Wow. And
I got you, brother. I appreciate you.
No, I want to leave with this one thing.
Go ahead.
What you need to start doing to these politicians is treat them like they got leprosy. When they come near you, tell them, go on the other side. You don't want to be contagious to what they got. Anyhow, and all of them's not in the same boat, right?
Right.
But I would say silence is consent.
Yes, it is consent.
Yeah. That's right.
And as it is consent, it aids in your suffering. That's the pain of the world.
Keep up the good work.
Appreciate you, brother.
I'm so glad for my cousin Corey Butterfield and Willie Ferguson.
Oh yeah. Great show they had today. Great show they had today. And I'm actually I know they got some more to add to that there, because that's a subject, and I plan to have probably Chris Furbity and one or two others in discussing the whole issue of ABIC and the whole personal income tax. But many countries have personal income tax, and that reading that article brings some of the subtle threats.
And to my brother that called earlier, listen, we have to do this in the spirit realm, pulling down principalities and rulers of darkness and spiritual wickedness in high places.
Well,
I know you heard me, my brother.
I hear you.
Can't get it. I'm talking to one of your previous calls.
Yeah, I know you. I know what you're saying, and he spoke to it. He spoke to the threats that he has received. But hey, when that's what you live by, the sword. You stand on principles, which he is doing, standing on principle, speaking on principle. You suffer the fate of your speech in truth.
I think you heard me. I'm not concerned about you one that could come take my house, my car, my boat. And they can even touch my body, but they can't do nothing to my soul because it doesn't belong to them. And I would say this, that those that call themselves leaders in the religious world, right? They should be speaking up.
Well,
silence is consent. I'm going to say it once again.
In Bermuda, there's a lot of it.
It's consent.
Yeah. The difference between the show horse and the mule. I'll talk to you later. All right.
God bless you, man. Be encouraged.
It was. Yes, sir. Thank you. Good night, you and old friends. Turn your radio down. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Good night, Brother Lou.
Good night.
Yes, sir. And so, I'm going to offer a counter to what the last caller position.
Go ahead. Defend your counter position. Go ahead. Turn your radio down, though. Turn your radio. It's piercing in my ear.
I'm on speakerphone.
Oh, that's why. That's why. You're on a speakerphone. Yeah.
Is that any better?
When you're not on, if you're off of the speakerphone, that's better.
Hang on a second. Let me try something else.
That's better.
It is?
That's a little better than what it was. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Sound like you're fighting that cold too, so go ahead.
Yeah, I had a cold thing going on,
Go ahead.
So I don't want to be too harsh. I don't want to come at the brother. I don't want to do that, right?
Well, speak your truth.
Because the thing about my brief presentation on this here, what he just said, I get passionate. I get passionate, and then the thunder starts rolling. So I don't want to do that.
Well, I want you to be passionate, but I want you to be clear, succinct to the point. So go ahead.
So the part I'm actually attacking or addressing is he went on the last part, basically where he propositioned God and so forth, and how we need to, believe and look to God as our Savior, and then God is not sleeping. Brother, look, God seems to be absolutely sleeping when it comes to black people. When it comes to black people, I'm looking at evidence now, because that's what I work with. I work with evidence. You see, I don't work with all this talk. I work with evidence. And so black people have been calling on God for centuries, Brother Luke. And look where we are at with it. You see? Look where we're at with it. Building more churches. Yeah. Building more churches, developing more churches, and on and on and on.
And let me ask you, you mean in the local context or the global?
Local context, absolutely. Local context, but the whole...
well, you're right. There's nothing for us to quickly put one in an empty school. But go ahead.
Come again. Say that one more time.
I said they quickly emerge in empty schools.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if there's a moratorium as to why they, emerging in these schools. Isn't there a moratorium on church building? I wonder.
I don't think so.
Because I'm not sure if it is.
No, I don't think so.
Or if it's just a matter of that there's no more.
The churches,
there's no more room for them. Yeah. Perhaps there's just no more room for them in terms of developing, on virgin land or what have you. That might be the case.
Yeah.
But they emerge and they popping up. I mean, the concentration.
So your counter argument. Let me get clear, because I want you to focus on your counter argument. Is that your focus? Because I want to take the next caller. Your counter argument is that The church.
The church, the proposition made by the church, proposition made by the brother that God is not sleeping, God is absolutely asleep. And in fact, God has been nudged hundreds and thousands of times, and God ain't moved when it comes to black people. See, we need to have this type of conversation, brother. At some point, we got to get real with all this here. We got to get real.
I'll say this here, and you're making a bold statement that answers something that was shared in the Ceola Ewart Brown case in terms of what it will take, because we seem to gravitate to all and many things where, and especially the Word of God, where we don't exercise the faith that it can change and improve our circumstances. I'm with you.
Yeah. We've been having, that type of circular talk has been hovering over us for too long. And this whole thing about it not being the untouchable, like somehow we put this thing in a category of untouchable. You can't touch this. You can speak against or towards everything else, but you cannot speak against this. Well, I am positioned to do just that, Brother Luke.
Thank you, brother.
I'm propositioned to do just that. You see what I'm saying? Because we've been under this what I call spell for too darn long. It's time we now get real. If we're going to proposition God to our people, we're going to continue to do that, then we want to see evidence. We want to see the evidence how all of this time since black people have been calling on this God, what has that produced for black people?
All right.
We see what's happening with us, Brother Luke. We see where we're at with our young men. And prior to those young men, it was their parents or parents' parents that were calling on this God. You see?
Yeah.
And so generations later now, we have this. Brother Luke, we got to get real with this nonsense, Brother Luke. I'm done tired of hearing it, quite frankly. But that's me personally.
All right, I believe you've called forward some of the shepherds. They want to say something to you. Talk to you later. I'll talk to you later. All right. Feel free to call back if you hear a rebuttal. Yep. But hey, it's your faith. Good night, you and old friends.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Simmons. How are you this evening?
I'm well, dear. Good evening.
Good. I'm so sorry that I got these men. God doesn't have a color.
I don't think they said one. I don't think they said God had a color.
But he was saying all this stuff about all the black man and all this type of stuff.
Well, God has people of many colors.
Yes,
they didn't say he was a black God, but go ahead.
But the way he was coming on, I don't want to go there because it's not going to be going on about religion. What I'm talking about is somebody came and said, "What has more or less the PLP done for Bermuda?"
Yeah.
In my opinion, I am a senior, and I have seen, and I've never been in a union-related company.
Right.
But I have seen that we've accomplished a lot of stuff because of between the PLP and the union, because those two would work hand in hand.
And you do see progress that they've made to support seniors, you're saying?
Yes, seniors and also our lives in general.
Right.
It's a lot of things that they had to fight for us in order to get where we are now.
Yeah.
People keep saying they haven't done anything for them, but what the PLP needs to do is to list what they've done. But I guess they're thinking that you don't want to be on the street corner saying I'm done this, I'm done that. And
they do. They give a record of.
They could do better. They could do that better.
They do give a record of things that have been accomplished and done. They do.
Yeah, they put it in the every now and again they'll send a pamphlet. Yeah.
Well, no, it's also if you look to even some of the government website and different ministries.
No.
You'll see what they have done.
Yeah, but just remember, everybody does not attempt to go on the website.
Well, it's like everyone doesn't read a book. But the point that I'm making is That's where you find it. Everyone's on social media. Those things that you're talking about are also on social media.
I am a reader, and I say, like, I don't have Instagram, but I have Facebook.
Yeah.
But, I do go onto the media. I consider myself to be versed enough to get through, and I'm also a believer in the sense that I'm not going to go back to Egypt. People are saying that some of the things that the PLP hasn't done for them, just sit down and look at it.
Yeah.
Say, like, even I bet you when this budget, the budget, I thought it was a good budget. And especially knowing that, like, all that money that, with the, CIT?
CIT?
Tax.
Yeah, corporate income tax.
Yeah. With that's going to make a difference. And like how the premier was saying, you can't go spend all the money.
Well, you got to take care of your debt first.
Yes. Yeah. And they've done that because, they're going to pay, what, $600 million in January. They're going to pay that. And so that's good because at least it's one bill less to pay. And then, we have to stop it going at each other. If something's wrong, I have about maybe 15 of those MPs in my phone. They got a mass email from me, either for the better, and if it's for the worse, they're gonna get it as well. And some answer, and and I'm glad that they do answer because I would say sometimes if they don't answer, I'll go back and say I haven't heard from you. You know what I'm saying? But
let me ask you this here, as a senior who's seen much, right? And I'm reflecting on the conversation.
I'm a young senior.
Well, you're a young senior. Well, you sound like a young senior like me, where you've a
little older than you, but anyhow.
Well, so both of us are seniors now. So we've seen enough now in the last 40 to 50 years, right? We've seen enough in the last 40 to 50 years to say that, okay, I've seen this before. This is the way it was maybe 1970 compared to 1990. And here it is, 2026, right? And I'm talking governance. And governance in terms of serving the needs of the people. This is speaking to your change. We can say we've
seen change
where there have been changes.
Yes.
Yeah. Changes and improvements for people.
Yes.
In these harsh economic times that we are in right now, right? Weighted against the volatility of the current geopolitics that we see, and we have our premier and other minister, Lightborn, they're down in the Caribbean. We know of the conflicts that are there. We know that there are tabs on us becoming full members.
Right, CARICOM.
CARICOM. We know also our relation, of course, with the United States.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All of these things. And all of that geopolitics, and I think Dr. Brown said it clearly. He said, Bermuda suffers the pain of the world. And right now, we are suffering some of that pain.
Yeah.
And in suffering some of that pain, you, as a senior, feel that our government has done some things for its people to alleviate,
to make it better,
to alleviate some of that pain.
Yes, I do.
And we agree that with things like housing, there needs to be improvement. Yeah,
it does.
A basic need.
Yeah,
yeah, in Bermuda, that many of our people who have it struggle with. Even just on
that housing. If I was homeless. And they put a place for me to go. And now I've seen on TV, how they have some of these quick quick houses that they put up.
Yeah,
If
technology
you were
now.
if you were absolutely homeless, if I was absolutely homeless, I would go to that place.
Yeah,
and it's up to you to keep it in good shape. When I was renting, it was my house.
Yeah.
So I looked after my house. I was renting, but I looked after it as if it was my home.
I agree with you to some degree that it is, if you've been afforded the opportunity of the luxury of just having the basic need of a home, it is your responsibility to maintain and upkeep that home. Yeah. At the same time, I do believe that there must be certain regulations and management of people in those homes. Because some of our people, I'm sorry, some of our people do not respect the value of a house. Not a home. They don't respect the value that they have a house for shelter.
Right.
And therefore, it warrants somewhat of a management on that site to assure that you
like
are...
inspections and stuff like that.
Yes, I believe that. I believe that you should have that in certain housing complexes in Bermuda, because people do not respect.
And also, you know, even like how they say for the homeless, there are some that do not want, you can whatever you want. They don't want to either live under the rules or they don't want to be living inside of confines of the home.
You know,
they'd rather live on the street.
There are those persons who are comfortable with that. There are those persons in their comfort. They are carrying also, and many of them know who they are. There are other types of issues they're dealing with, mental illness.
Yeah.
And so, again, the government and others have a responsibility to address that. If we want to see less people, for example, on our streets in a vagrant manner, right? Now, we must be putting in place the necessary things to hold them, because they too can be held responsible.
And even sometimes the government and people, workers, makes it hard for people.
Yeah.
Some of the bureaucracy that you have to go through to get a decent life. You know, there are some things that they must close their eyes to it.
Well,
and you find people around here suffering, and they feel that it's nowhere for them to go. If they go to the government, then there's another issue, you know. And then it's a vicious circle, and we have to delve into it. You know, and sometimes, and even a matter of tough love. Sometimes that has to happen,
right?
You know, because I and so like even for myself, I was a young mother, and I had 2 young children. I wasn't married, but we made it through. I ended up getting married, but we made it through.
Yeah.
You know, but we had to teach them the values. And I wasn't a Christian when I was coming through, but I had the upbringing to make it better. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happens. And that's something, that's my mantra in the fact that for young people, especially young women, I try to guide them, you know, to tell them, you know, there is a world out there for you. And you don't need to be just, you know, waddling around here.
Well, you're speaking...
and not to say that Bermuda. I'm not going to England, if you know what I mean. I will not be leaving Bermuda to go over to England to say that it's a better life. You know, it's here for Bermuda, but you just have to make do. Because if you don't have enough to buy shrimp, buy some tuna fish. And even nowadays, tuna fish is expensive. but you have to learn how to make do. Take the tuna fish, make it into a sauce, put it over your macaroni. A nice little casserole.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just different things. You have to learn how to make do for yourself and not depend all the way on government.
I'm with you.
I know what it's like. I do. You know, somebody told me one time, "Oh, you're lucky." I said, "Don't tell me." I said, "If you knew my story, I'm not lucky.
Well,
I just tried my best to do better."
Maybe our stories can help each other in this circumstance when we're talking about our people who are homeless and, as we say, those who choose to have a vagrant life, maybe dealing with their mental illness. So those are the things we have to come up with and deal with.
Yeah, and I remember one time we went to sing inside the prison, and these girls were there and stuff like that. And I don't know. I did not think that I'll be up there ministering to these girls because, you know, and I just tried to tell them. I said, "You made a mistake." I said, "But don't let it be the end." Because I was just thinking about myself as I came through. And I just said, "You can do better. You can do better. Don't throw in the towel."
Well, it don't sound like you're going to throw in the towel, but I'm going to throw in the towel and take the next caller. I'll talk to you later. I appreciate you. All right, dear. Okay, now. Right. Hey, people, look. Good night, you're on all fronts. Go ahead.
Yes, good night.
My brother.
What's that, Miss Section 8 in the house?
Yes, sir.
That middle class racism just now, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Makes you think about the right to bear arms. It's the only solution for the people at the bottom. These middle class kids need to be wiped off the map.
No, that's not going to happen.
And their children.
Well, we can't. We know we can't have that. But that's not going to happen.
Well, that's the only solution.
Nah, it's better solutions.
But you're not listening.
Okay, but it's better solutions.
Rents are too high.
Or all of that.
$500 apartment.
We agree. We agree to that. But, you know, the reality of wiping our people off the planet. Now, what we need to do is meet our planet. We need to meet our people's needs. Let's meet our people's needs. Let's come with the best solutions.
People are not coming to the table with nothing except arrogant racism, systemic racism from the middle class.
Let us address it. Let me take the next caller. Peace. Good night, you and old friends.
Yes, just a second. Yes, I'm calling. I normally just listen to your program.
Yes, sir.
And a couple of weeks ago, that voice that you just had, your last caller, I thought you would have said to him, "Listen, you know you owe me, or you need to apologize to me, and you need to apologize to my listeners for what he done the last time he was on."
What did you do? Did I miss something?
Yes.
What was it?
And you cut him.
He cursed, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he did curse. Yeah, I should have said something to him.
Yeah.
I said something to, yes, yeah, he did curse, and I just clicked, yeah.
Right.
But I think he's caught himself since then. Yeah.
All right, sir.
Appreciate it, brother.
Have a good evening.
You too. Good night, you on all fronts.
What you talking about? In America, we have freedom of speech.
Yeah, but we don't.
What's wrong with this backward artist? Donald Trump needs to be.
Yeah. But what he's saying is just respect the protocols. That's all. Serious radio. Freedom of speech don't mean you can.
Media has the right to curse them in the world.
But not on the radio. I'll talk to you later. I'm got an overseas caller. Good night, you and old friends.
Freedom of speech. Media has the right to curse them in the world.
Turn your radio down, bro. Turn your radio. Can't hear you. Go ahead.
Hi.
Old friends. Hi.
How are you?
I'm well now.
I don't have a radio.
Well, it was on.
I'm
overseas. Okay, go ahead.
I'm overseas.
Yeah, I know, but I heard.
Going?
Okay, may have been the feedback from the last caller. That's all it was. But go ahead, dear.
Yeah, that's what probably was. Okay, I've been listening to a lot of the you know, people calling in and, you know, I'm on the outside because I do live in the United States, but I am a Bermudian.
Yeah,
and
you're still on the inside, honey.
I know, yes,
Yeah.
I am, because I'm not a citizen. I am not a citizen of the United States. So I could be an inside tomorrow with the mess that's going on in this country.
Yeah.
But, you know, another thing is that I don't understand why inside the premiership that the party or the gets to pick who the premier is. I want to know how come the people don't get to pick who the premier is, because it is a vicious circle on that island where the MPs and the premier have this relationship.
Well, we have to change our Westminster system on that one.
Well, I mean, like you said, and Dr. Hewitt said earlier about getting independence. Maybe, you know, by having your independence, that would change that situation. But they're not going to be getting their independence within the next year or 2 years. So you're dealing with what you have now. And the new person who has stepped up to run for premiership is already in that body of people who he's worked with, and now the people's got to try to put their trust in him to do what's right. Well, he's been in a party where they're all been following behind the leader and, you know, doing their own thing.
Right.
Whereas they haven't been doing for the people. I mean, and this lady, I'm sorry to say, and I don't want to sound rude or anything, but, you know, I mean, a lot of Bermudians are just like sleeping. They think because the premier has done, you know, 1 or 2 things for the senior citizens, that makes it okay. It's not okay. They haven't done enough for the overall people of the island. And from what that gentleman said about an airplane of people coming in, I believe every word he said. I am so sure they have people coming in that island, and most Bermudians don't even know. And until they see them working somewhere, and they're like, oh my God, we got so many foreigners living here. Because I mean, you know, as a Bermudian, I still live here, but I know what's going on, and I listen to the talk shows every week and all day sometimes. No, right. I mean, on the go, because, you know, I do work. But I just don't understand how they would just let a person, you know, say he wants to run for premiership, and he's already within that party. It's not even a new person who, you know, giving another young person outside of that circle a chance to see what they could do for the country, like Corey Butterfield. You know, in the afternoon, we've all listened to him and grown to love him, and he's a man that you could hear it in his heart that he wants the best for his people.
Yes,
and
he does.
His people are not getting it right now.
Yeah.
So why is another person within the party now who's an MP wants to stand up and run for premier?
Well,
Because
again, that's in the Constitution for them for it to be like that. Until there are changes constitutionally, we'll continue to see that in terms of party politics and delegates choosing who will become their next leader. It's like a club. You know, if you're not a member of the party and delegates.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So when is there ever going to be changes?
Yeah.
When will there ever be changes?
Well,
you're trying to take the word of a person who's already in that
this is some of the you're talking the same thing in terms of the changes. Even in the interview between Ceola and Dr. Brown, that was clearly stated. The most difficult thing for us to do in Bermuda is to make the changes we say that we want. We have this fear.
And then so there's just not going to be changes no matter who.
I say to people, I say
change that.
Yeah, it's not so much that it's not going to be changed. It's just that it's going to take a very slow.
Well, yeah, but
process.
It's also letting people who think that the government is doing something for them. They got their blinders up.
Well, let's see. Let's see if the next callers have some sight of what you're talking about, and maybe a change is a coming. Hey, let's see.
Well, I mean, housing. I hear a lot because just about all my family lives in Bermuda. I mean, I might be the only one up here right now, and I'm in Connecticut.
Well, I'll say this here. Out there in Connecticut, you serve as our Bermuda agent, close to Trump. In case anything's coming our way, you let us know in advance. All right.
I'm sure you'll hear it. But I'll call in again because I'm just furious. I'm furious with what's going on that island, and especially now with this new person stepping up saying that they want to run for premier.
Well, let's see.
And he's already in that body of circle of people who's just a vicious circle going around and around and around, and people thinking that they're doing something for us.
Let's see what change is coming our way. You have yourself a warm night there in Connecticut.
Okay.
All right. Good night, you and all friends. You're the last caller. Go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, Dr. Lon. I don't want to take too long. Just listening. A lot of good conversation. A lot of people just got to understand that when it comes to the types of changes that we look for. It's under the type of constitution that we're under, how the government is run, the Westminster system style of government.
Yeah. I think people miss that because they need to we change that, you get some of the changes you want, people.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
That type of change also comes with an independent mindset.
Yeah, well, it's independent mindset, and that's what I wanted to speak about in the sense of independence and looking down the road or independence or looking at us becoming independent.
Well,
and I know you was talking about Barbados, and taking information from them and what they're doing. But what does Barbados have that belongs to them? What do they have?
What do we have that belongs to us? They have their independence. The same thing that you're saying that we need to do, they have that.
Yeah, but
they have the number one thing, because your main argument is about us accepting and going independent. That's what Barbados had. Not only that, they were bold enough to say, now we'll drop the Commonwealth status and we'll become a republic. So that's what they have. I give them credit. And even Dr. Brown said it. They're teaching us something. They're telling us something.
Yeah.
Do we want to listen? Does joining CARICOM move us closer to that action?
Right. I don't. Well, when it comes to CARICOM, that's another story. But looking at what I was asking on what Barbados has, yes, they have independence and they're looking to go down the road to becoming Republican, or they may be already Republican. I don't know. I know Bahamas just went through those steps and getting that, cleared up as far as being a republic. Because
Barbados is a republic. Go ahead. Yeah, they are.
Okay. So, what I wanted to know, what is the national? What do they have nationally? What they own that belongs to the people as well? They got oil. They got this. What is it that they got?
None of those mineral types. No, they're not like Jamaica. Right. I think Jamaica has bauxite or something.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
Trinidad has oil. Guyana has oil. Right.
Yeah. Do they earn anything other than that? Do they own their own hotels? Do they have their food?
Yes, they do. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Good stuff. Okay.
I mean, plus, there are other. I mean, the Chinese have property there. Everyone has property there and hotels there.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
But they do have a greater employment of their people in those hotels.
Yes, right. Yes, indeed. Yeah, that's good. I see Mr. Havers looking to make sure that happens here in Bermuda.
Well, we certainly would expect and hope so if the Southampton Fairmont or the Hamilton Fairmont or the Fairmont Southampton gets off the ground. Yeah, but especially that one because that's the one.
Especially for all
it's supposed to be 60% Bermudians in there or something.
One thing, especially for all of them that's getting these concessions, even the business, whoever's getting these concessions and these breaks on the taxpayer, the taxpayers' dollar, where it should be coming into our pockets or the government's pockets.
Well, I'll say this here, and then I'll take next caller.
Okay,
these type of things come with huge contracts like what we're talking about. There are always, that's part of the quid pro quo of business and politics. You're going to get those, you get the breaks.
Okay, to go to my point, what I wanted to really say is that if we're looking down the road to become independent, right? And some things that we had the opportunity to nationalize, such as Belco, we could have nationalized Belco. We could have invested the people's money into that. We could have bought South Princess for $50 million. We could have a cruise ship. If we're looking to go down the road of independence, what would you just go down the road of independence and say, oh, I'm a Bermudian, I've got a job, I'm the manager, this or that? What I'm saying is that if we are looking to go down to the road of independence and bringing something forward, something that the next generation is going to be proud to know that we are independent. I earned this hotel, we earned this ship, we earned our power station. There's lots of things that we need to look at in nationalizing.
Right.
And taking the opportunity, especially if this new income that we're got coming in, to look at these things that's being presented to us, like how South Princess was presented to us. We should have bought that. We could have built national pride with that. We should have bought Belco. These are the things that we need to start looking at. And we as the people, we are in charge of what really happens. Not just at the voters block or even vote them up because they do it. When we want something or when we see something that we need or should be done, it's up to us to lobby our government and tell them this is what we want. We want to earn a cruise ship. We want to earn a hotels. We want to earn these things and making it a.
What you're implying and what you're saying again, which was what we started off with and was part of the conversation Ceola had with former Premier Dr. Brown. The Bermudian people must have the desire, the will, and conviction, conviction of purpose to make those changes that they say they want. Okay. No, we don't. Don't say we have the will. If we had the will, we would see evidence of what you're talking about. So that will is not there.
In order to see the evidence,
the collective will. The collective will has to be there.
In order to see that, we must inform our government from leadership down. We are looking for leadership to ownership. We want our money to be invested into what we are the servants on.
And I was, and you're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. That should be something that we should move toward. Whether you're a part of CARICOM or not, that is something that we should. That's where and what we should look to move toward
for our next generation. Not this business about I've got a degree, I'm working here, I'm this and that. No, we need leadership to ownership.
There you go. Let's end it there. Next caller. Leadership to ownership. Very important. Next caller. Oops, missed that one. You're the last caller on all fronts. Oh, missed that one. Well, that is the last caller. This is a tribute to Ceola. And I'm just going to share with you some of the beautiful sentiments as we close out the night. This came from Circle of Life 9 days ago. Ceola will indeed be missed. She was one of a small band of journalists who were actually interested in the true story, actually interested in asking the difficult questions. Too many of Bermuda's reporters seem to prefer to skate around the story. Ceola went for the center of the story, not the sides. This is from Rodney Smith. We all love C. She was one of a kind. She was real and never left you in doubt where she stood. She had a soft heart, though she put forth a tough front. Bermuda is brutal towards those who are brave enough to speak their minds. C, despite the consequences, did not back down. She reported the way she lived, free. And here's the third one. She was such a powerhouse in the field and unafraid of reporting the truth. That type of bravery is practically non-existent in the tiptoeing cowardice style of journalism we have to endure today in these here colonial tainted isles. She was unafraid to rock the boat. Thank you, Ceola. And we say to all, rest in power, Queen. And we extend our condolences to her family and many friends. May we accept the peace and love and blessings. People, it's been a high spirit tonight. We say to you, on this night, as we reflect, some very forthcoming things stated. But hey, if there's anything, the change starts with us. The change starts with us, people. We keep hearing it. We keep saying it. There are no shortage of solutions. And if there's, there was a number of things spoken in the interview with Ceola, but one thing that was stated, there's no one coming to save us. We have a responsibility to change our own circumstances. And Dr. Brown spoke about the fact that during that time, it was 2022 when that interview took place. 2026, yes, we're still a colony. And there's a new colonialism that's being shaped and formed, but that's for another show. So on that note, we say to you, have yourself a very safe and peaceful night. And people, please, please, for the last 4 weeks, there have been traffic accidents of persons flipping their cars. Now, hey, we've had road fatalities. We're ahead of the game, actually. We're approaching the third month. I think we have 3 fatalities already. So, hey, these fatalities, we say and express our condolences to the family members. But people, drive safely. Please think of others. Think of your families as you're driving foolishly. Keep the peace. We don't fight on any one front.
Bermuda Live on YouTube. Subscribe now. Bermuda Live on YouTube. Subscribe now.